Nairobi to the world. This is Look Up Radio. Now playing your all-time hits.
This is for my future wife. There are things about me she should know. So just in case she is listening, hi, my name is Kibet, but most people call me Mufasa. I spend my days uprooting words from the flows of my soul. My mind has doors. Some thoughts have locked themselves at the back, but you should know I cut my nails after every 1 week. The first name that hits me when I see a dog is Snoopy, and blue is not my favorite color. But I don't mind if you come out of the blues. See, I know you are beautiful, because that's how I notice you. I know you have a smile that stretches like a hand. That's why people around you always feel touched. I don't know if the first time you say hi, my earlobes will lock rhythm with my eardrums and make music that will last from ear to ear. But I know what will attract me to you will be how strong and happy you are under the wings of a king of kings. So my mind will find vision in your words when you say, God bless you. I know I will love you, because that's the reason I will be with you. But I know I will love you more because of your relationship with God. When I'm away and I fall, you will send prayers that will pick me up. The soles of my feet will always touch the ground, because your knees touched the ground for us. So I hope you won't mind that I took the time to know you first, that I found the words to describe you before I could find a way to miss you. And hey, the day I walk you down the aisle, forget about numbers. African as I am, there won't be a number 3 or 2. You won't even need to be number 1 when you will be the only one.
The way I want to hug you, the way I want to hold you, heaven knows, only heaven knows.
But I'm not naive. I know. As years go by, we will introduce each other to new imperfections. So of course we will fight. Of course I will see you mad, and I will see you smile. Of course I will have you hold me, and I will have you push me. And I'm here training, praying. My anger will always find a reason to pose on my elbow. My elbow will fold, so I will never know how to raise my hands on you. And the rest of my body will never have to know how it feels like to regret hating you. Even though right now, my feet cannot stand that. And if you have a past, I have a past too. I just have faith that my romance will grow masseuse hands and try to massage the tense in your past. I say try, because some memories have found untouchable corners inside us, and no matter how much we starve our stomachs, they will not come out. And maybe they shouldn't. Maybe the throat doesn't need to be reminded of the pain that passed through when we swallowed them. Maybe you just need to know that I will be there, that I will know when to shut up, pull a chair, sit next to you, and just love you. And maybe you need to know that I will know how to protect you, not by having a gun, I wear the full armor of God. My breastplate of righteousness will protect your heart. So when we fight for us and God gets us through, crack of dawn, crack of lips, and we win and still be together at 50. Write me a letter when I'm out of town and put butterfly stamps in it. You won't have to write much. I'll just need to be reminded that even at 50, you still give me butterflies.
The way I want to love you, the way I want to hold you, heaven knows, only heaven knows. The way I want to love you, the way I want to hold you, heaven knows, only heaven
This is for my future wife. There are things about me she should know. So just in case she is listening, my name is Kibet, but most people call me Mufasa. I spend my days uprooting words from the flows of my soul. My mind has doors. Some thoughts have locked themselves at the back, but you should know I cut my nails after every 1 week. The first name that hits me when I see a dog is Snoopy, and blue is not my favorite color. But I don't mind if you come out of the blues. See, I know you are beautiful, because that's how I notice you. I know you have a smile that stretches like a hand. That's why people around you always feel touched. I don't know if the first time you say hi, my earlobes will lock rhythm with my eardrums and make music that will last from ear to ear. But I know what will attract me to you will be how strong and happy you are under the wings of a king of kings. So my mind will find vision in your words when you say, God bless you. I know I will love you, because that's the reason I will be with you. But I know I will love you more because of your relationship with God. When I'm away and I fall, you will send prayers that will pick me up. The soles of my feet will always touch the ground, because your knees touched the ground for us. So I hope you won't mind that I took the time to know you first, that I found the words to describe you before I could find a way to miss you. And hey, the day I walk you down the aisle, forget about numbers. African as I am, there won't be a number 3 or 2. You won't even need to be number 1 when you will be the only one.
The way I want to love you, the way I want to hold you, heaven knows, only heaven knows.
But I'm not naive. I know. As years go by, we will introduce each other to new imperfections. So of course we will fight. Of course I will see you mad, and I will see you smile. Of course I will have you hold me, and I will have you push me. And I'm here training, praying. My anger will always find a reason to pose on my elbow. My elbow will fold, so I will never know how to raise my hands on you. And the rest of my body will never have to know how it feels like to regret hating you. Even though right now, my feet cannot stand that. And if you have a past, I have a past too. I just have faith that my romance will grow masseuse hands and try to massage the tense in your past. I say try, because some memories have found untouchable corners inside us, and no matter how much we starve our stomachs, they will not come out, and maybe they shouldn't. Maybe the thought doesn't need to be reminded of the pain that passed through when we swallowed them. Maybe you just need to know that I will be there, that I will know when to shut up, pull a chair, sit next to you, and just love you. And maybe you need to know that I will know how to protect you, not by having a gun. If I wear the full armor of God, my breastplate of righteousness will protect your heart. So when we fight for us and God gets us through crack of dawn, crack of lips, and we win and still be together at 50, write me a letter when I'm out of town and put butterfly stamps in it. You won't have to write much. I'll just need to be reminded that even at 50, you still give me butterflies.
The way I want to hug you, the way I want to hold you, heaven knows, only heaven knows. The way I want to love you, the way I want to hold you, heaven knows, only heaven knows.
This is Look Up Radio, Kenya's #1 gospel radio.
Name.
This is Look Up.
Name of the poem is A Letter to My Future Wife. His name is Mufasa Poet. Tell us, what are your funny public speaking stories? I'm tuned into, I'm checking Facebook and. Welcome back. This is Look Up Radio, the morning drift with Liz Nyango, and I'm glad you're tuning in and everybody is watching us. Previously, I just talked about my funny public speaking story. I want to hear yours. What's your most funny public speaking story that make you feel like, hey, you're almost nervous or anything? So, Lamo Oungo, you're tuned, and you're saying, I remember the debate, it is good to be a teacher rather than a farmer. I could start. Simply because no point. Or sometimes when I was the perfect, this week we expect maximum cooperation. I think he's talking about hizo stories za kufanya debate and then you're just not able to speak and you've been told to speak for a whole 10 minutes about a topic you're good at. So, for those of you who are good at public speaking, ebu tuambieni, mulikuwa mnatoa wapi hiyo nguvu? Hiyo courage ilikuwa inatoka wapi? And talking on matters public speaking, we have Mufasa the Poet in studio. He's going to start by telling us his funny public speaking story and how he got to be a great public speaker. Alafu pia tujiulize, mapoet wanakramingiaje hizi words? How do they cram all these words? I've seen Mufasa in concert and the words are just in the head. Like, did they do something different in drama school that we didn't do? We need to learn about the skills. Yani tusaidiane kwa sababu si hapa ni kusaidiana. Kuongea ni kila kitu na hivyo ndo we negotiate about maisha, si ndio? So, Zaga mshairi unasema, yes, I'm not that guy who can easily create a rapport with new people. Like, I feel too official, can't act, sometimes cheeky. I think if I could be a bit much better than what I am today. Zaga unasema wewe hata hujui ku create rapport na watu. So let's talk about how to create a rapport. Johnny Genius, you're saying you're tuned in, and we have so many people who are tuned in. But tuambieni, how have you woken up in the morning? Are you looking forward to learn about how to improve your public speaking skills? But if you're good, tell us, how can we get to be as good as you? And in studio with us, I'm going to introduce to you Mufasa the poet. I'm not going to tell you to tell us about yourself, but maybe later on you'll tell us about yourself. Aki tuanze tu na a very funny public speaking story. Tuonge tu ile siku huko haijua kamera mbele yako, lakini sasa saizi all lights on you. Mufasa, karibu sana Look Up Radio KE.
Thank you very much. Asante sana. What do you mean that you're finding live one?
Like, has there been a scenario
Yeah.
where you've been put on the spot
Yeah.
and you're expected to speak? You know, I've heard you talk about your mother and your uncles. Let's talk about a funny family story or family related story.
Yeah.
Yenye haukukuwa ready, lakini you were put on the spot to speak.
So this one is not funny.
Mhm.
This one is not funny. But basically, I remember there was a time when my dad passed on.
Pole.
And then Mimi now being a poet in the family, nani, I don't know, somehow, my mother felt like Mimi nikienda kuongea, nda drop my, you know, like I have those punchy whatever. Hey, me, I didn't know things to say. I didn't know things, like, I love to know when you go home, Ocha, there's a different way people speak there. Where's it be like a Ocha, alafu you could jongoso nini? No, it's different. Like, you have to speak in, you know, like ile Kiswahili ukweli, the pure nini. Hey, yo, I stammered, I struggled nini. My mother could not believe it. Nilikuja kukaka sema, ni wewe ni wewe. Like, sasa like, yo. I can expect me come through, but I didn't come through. I guess this other thing, yeah. Nikianza when starting poetry, mi nilikuanga mwoga. Like, I was a very, 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 very shy guy. Very hard for me to step up on stage, stand on stage before people, nini. So it was easier for me to perform a poem. But if you asked me to speak, if I'm not performing a poem, now that was a struggle.
Okay, so what's the difference between a poem?
Yeah.
What's the difference between performing a poem?
Yeah.
And speaking in public? And first of all,
Yeah.
you're saying you are shy before.
Yeah.
So how did you merge the gap? Kwa sababu kukuwa shy na venye unapiga show hapo kwa stage, you know.
No, actually, here's my journey. When I came to Nairobi, initially, I came here to study. So I joined uni, whatever. And at some point, I was struggling. Like, mother alikuwa na struggle na fee, nini, una defer chuo, unafanya nini. So hizo time zenye na defer, naamua nitembe kwenda ma KBC, siku za kwenda KNT, when KNT was KNT.
When
like,
KNT was KNT, Kenya National
Theatre.
Yes.
So you go there, unapata ma posters, actors needed, unajiambia, hey, actors needed. Mko nikiona kwa TV, I'm like, me, I'm about to be an actor right now. Nimeenda audition nini, nimechukuliwa. Mimi nikasema life ya mine imeanza, ndio hiyo mimi. Ramsi no ndo huyo. Like, life inaanza. Mimi nimeanza kuona superstar ndo huyo. Siku yenye naitwa final ya twende sasa tuanze tizi. Na realize hiyo acting ni tofauti, ni set book. Si ile ilikuwa nadhani yako ni set book. But now what it did for me was, because actually nilifanya set book before. And what it did for me was I remember ile kwenda schools. Unajua watu yuko ngoga. Watu will tell you, like, students, if you're boring, you're boring.
Okay.
If they don't feel you, they don't feel you. I remember I was doing like the main, I was given a challenge on kapo the main actor, what's his name? Anyway, the River Between, Wayaki.
Okay.
Nikapo the main actor. Yo, as a main actor, you're supposed to have a standing ovation. Like, you're
Yes.
the one, you're the show.
Yes.
So everybody's supposed to cheer for you and everything like that.
Yes.
I remember the first day I did that show before. The first day I did it on stage, also wengine when you're kana minor character wali clap you more than I was. When I direct after you, do you know that has never happened? Like, you're the one who's supposed to get the whole whatever.
Yes.
So I went back, looked at the words, the way I was saying them, nikamua what can I do to improve it? Because it wasn't even about the director now, ilikuwa mimi kujiimprove. So one way for me ilinisaidia ni to find a different way of saying something.
Okay.
Like saying the same thing but giving it a different kind of punch, a different kind of approach, the way you say it. So this is one of the things that you learn earlier on. And then now the boldness ya kusema in front of a crowd ilianzia na theater.
Okay.
Because I didn't have an option.
Yeah.
So theater kanisaidia sana na hiyo.
Okay.
So now then after gaining the advantage ya kukua at least before bigger crowds before.
Yes.
Crowds who were not afraid to react to give you any feedback.
Yes.
And then now learning as well how to say words differently.
Yes.
Same words but how to say them differently.
Okay.
Then I think those two things in combine it can make now better in life right now.
Aki, from wherever you're listening to us, mnamsikiza Mufasa is saying it was quite challenging for him in the beginning. Lakini, it depends on how you now take it and how you nurture it and practice. So, you're saying it's all about practice. But before that, I've not introduced Mufasa the poet to you. Mufasa, introduce yourself using a poem because that's what you're all about. Talk to your people. Look straight in the camera na uambie ukweli wa mambo when it comes to being Mufasa the poet.
Hey!
Twende kazi.
And then a poem?
Yes.
Okay. The first time life became hard on me as an adult, I became a poet. I told myself I'll never steal until the time I performed before an audience and someone said I stole their ear. For 12 months they couldn't listen to any other poet. I stole their ear, and I've been doing this for years now. I can do it with my eyes closed, I can do it with the mic off, and sometimes I meet people who say to me, we've seen you on stage, you have no fear. And I wish I was bold enough to say to them, cut me open. You'll find another poet I wasn't bold enough to let out. I know sometimes my writings look like they're the naked parts of me, but truth is my insides have an inside, so I still say writing is how I hide myself. And I still say procrastination is no medicine, then right after I say that, I drag myself. And I write about my mother. So I won't have to say I'm afraid of dying or I'm scared of trying, and I write about peace and love and girls, so I won't have to talk about all the times I almost drove myself to distraction. I'm not saying people should have everything, but I list the will to keep going. I still believe the pain in my back is for all those times I bent down to pick my self-esteem. But I don't write that because maybe you wouldn't like that, or maybe because the empty parts of myself are full of themselves. Or maybe I don't want to say I have never smoked because my lungs are not something to boast about if my stomach might kill me one day. Now every time younger poets ask me, how do I blow up? It reminds me, I wasn't born a bomb poet. I had to teach myself how to explode. I had to become a landmine to land an audience that is mine. See, I always wanted my art to be about what I know, but people keep making it about how many people know me, how many directions I have to take before I'm as famous as One Direction. I know my name, every alphabet. But you're asking me to prove myself numerically anyway. Numbers won't count me out. And my poetry is like a lawyer's teeth, ever ready to bite a dead body and give it another life. In this life, I'm Spider-Man with ink. I'm about to make my YouTube page a web series. That's why I write to prepare schools for my understudy. That's right. My writing can take you to school. I can name at least 5 times my writing was an understudy for PhD. And I'm not done writing. My writing can't be done. This is the only way I avoid a lockdown. The stage is my freedom. I'm not rhyming, I'm freeing myself. I'm not just anybody else, I'm free myself. I'm not dating, I'm seeing myself. I'm not for anybody else, I'm for me and myself. I'm delicate, I'm glass, I'm broken glass. Tell the kids I'm no idol. It's easy to see yourself broken if you use a broken glass to see yourself. See the sense? This is what I do. I pick up 1,000 words just to go home with a couple of cents. So I'm not rich, I'm reaching. And I reach out to create movement in the subconscious, and that's just remote. Retrospectively, billions of years ago, there was a bang, and I bear the super for someone to make it big. That's how I found myself banging. I never knocked my mother's belly, I was banging. And I've been buying a dose of people not open to understanding, so maybe my poetry will never be understood. But that doesn't mean anything. For as long as knowledge is limitless, then I find meaning meaningless. And if anybody asks, where do you see yourself in 5 years, in 10 years, I will say, one day, I will rise. But for now, I just wake up in the morning and I allow tea in the morning, spiced with lemon and honey. And I love honey because the bee stings, but honey doesn't. Thank you.
Eish.
Hey.
tell us. First of all, the number is 20374. Tell us what you think about talent made in Kenya, Mufasa the poet. And we are talking about public speaking. And we are asking ourselves, Aki Mufasa, just tell us, how do you get to cram all that?
Hey.
How do you get to be so confident in yourself in such a way? You are just freestyling. You're not afraid. You know, just to party to tips, 1, 2, 3.
At home. You make me feel at home.
No, it's not about me. Like tell it to the people who you're talking to, the younger ones, the ones who are upcoming public speakers who are looking forward to speak in big conferences, the ones who are looking up to be a poets, musicians, or whatever.
Yeah.
Stage presence is everything. Sasa wewe pia just tell us how did you get to realize it that you can do it, or through your challenges, how did you overturn it? Ulibadilishaje your script?
One, for me, if a point, I feel like I didn't have an option. Like, this had to work. Like, I had to make this work. So, now, having no option, I was like, yo, this has to work. Doesn't matter what, this has to work. I'm not going back home, homes, I need to do something here. So, for me, practice has been one thing for sure.
Okay.
Like, the fact that practice kwa window Komira every day. Like, you're practicing, you say something, you're practicing every day. And then again, saying those words differently every other time. Like, naisema this way, naisema this way, until it means something different every other time. The other bit has been Pia, knowing that if I fault on stage, nobody else knows what I was saying.
Okay.
It's not like I was saying, no, kuna script yangu, mimi niko na script. So hata nikikosea mahali, instead of you to pause ama naambiwa say sorry nini, nobody knows nimekosea. I just pretend like niko sawa and I go on. So that's the other thing nimelearn. Like, you just continue until now finally you go back to your script.
Okay.
But just sometimes people kwa stage, you fault, alafu unaanza kusema, oh sorry, let me start again. I was here. But when you think about it, nobody really knows what's on your mind. Nobody knows how ulikuwa umepanga kuongea. So there's that bit as well, just knowing that even if nikiongea and then somehow nipotee, nobody knows nimepotee unless I let them know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's all about the mental and just how you perceive public speaking, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, hapa tunataka kuuliza watu, like, tell us your story. 20374. Ask a question to Mufasa. We are talking about public speaking. He is a great poet. He is good in the public eye. He's done concerts. You should see Mufasa in concert and just try and understand, where does he get all the confidence from? So he says it's all about practice. Do you agree? Have you tried to practice with yourself in the mirror with a paper, and then when you get to the place where you're going, it just all goes down? Tell us your story. 20374. Sign register hapo. Tell us you're tuned in. Tell us where you're tuned in from. So don't forget to tell us your funny public speaking story. With us in studio is Kenya's one of Kenya's poet. His name is Mufasa. We'll take a very short break and be right back. Don't touch that dial, okay?
This is Look Up Radio, now playing your all-time hits. From Nairobi to the world. This is Look Up Radio, now playing your all-time hits. Playing your all-time hits. Look Up Radio.
Welcome back to Look Up Radio KE. This is the Morning Drift and I'm your host Liza Nyango. Tell us, how is your morning today? Mshaamka, mshaenda kazini, mshakunywa chai? Kama kuna mkate mnaweza kutuletea kwa studio. Mufasa is saying he's feeling a bit cold and chilly. Yeah. He even thought twice about coming today. So Mufasa, welcome to studio. Today we are talking about public speaking. It's not even only about that. We are talking about you being Mufasa the poet. How did you get to attain such greatness in terms of public speaking? Now, before I talk about greatness, na labda watu wajui naongea juu ya nini, ebu kwanza tuanze na kapoem kamoja and tell us what the poem is about and how it speaks to you or speaks to the person who's watching right now.
Okay. This one basically is called My Boys Are Dying. You come to Nairobi and then you realize the struggle that everybody is going through. Your age mates who are families, kuna age mates wa minor, kuna wakidi, in their relationships and whatever they do, like probably chuo, nini, their jobs, what's on a struggle differently. And somehow in that struggle took united in looking and hoping for a better future. So this is called My Boys Are Dying.
My boys are dying.
Yeah.
The struggle is real. The challenge is
Yo,
real. It's
boy
not as
child,
perfect.
boy
it's,
child.
it's not as perfect as we portray it out here, right?
Yeah, nah.
But then you're Mufasa the poet. You've done international poems. You've been featured in all the international sceneries. But you're still writing about the plight of the Kenyan boy, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
tell us how you want to bridge that gap between that boy who's not made it, ule mwenye ana struggle,
Yeah.
na ule mwenye unataka kumencourage endelea kipanda. I'm sure hata wewe uko na visions zako unataka kupanda to a certain level, but we can't deny the fact that you're somewhere right now.
Yeah. I think for me, basically just being rooted to my story, because I believe that somehow all our stories are relatable.
Okay, so speak to that boy. Twende.
Okay. My boys are dying. Some of them are poets. They have written 1,000 poems, but not one has earned them a living. Open mics, don't open the door when the landlord closes your house. My boys are dying. Some of them are singers. You may or may not have heard their songs before, but every mealtime they eat their own songs and choke on their lyrics. My boys are dying. Don't let those Nike shoes fool you. There's nothing correct about the heart of a young man who has nothing but his Nike shoes. My boys are dying from being misunderstood. Understand that my boys will do anything for money. Understand that sometimes the modern woman has a watchman, CCTV cameras, and a mobile app that will send people to fix anything in her house, so the only security she might need from her man is financial. My boys are dying because their pocket is light. My boys are dying because their heart is heavy. Maybe if they had a Timmy's voice, they would sing their heart out and just watch it beating right in front of them. My boys are dying from heartbreaks, from disappointments. They're not asking to win all the time. They're asking to win at least this one time. My boys are dying because the universe has refused to accept them as stars. Now they're earthbound, bound to be art. Art is soil, soil is sometimes called dirt. My boys are dirty. My boys are dying from walking in sewers at garbage points without proper gear. The family fears, but it's what steers are leaving, believing tomorrow will come, but the day is leaving. My boys are dying from taking care of families that don't feel taken care of. My boys are dying for being boys, for being big boys, for being just boys, for being bus boys, for being in a group of boys. My boys are dying before they are fathers. My boys are dying because they are fathers. My boys are dying to go farther. They've got bomb lyrics to bomb your TV. Check their temperatures. They are walking degrees. Their mind is a state of art. The state has refused to stage outside. My boys are dying inside. Ask the jail warden. My boys are dying from duodenal wounds, from intestinal wounds. My boys are dying outside. My boys are dying because the leaders are clashing. My boys are dying because the leaders are lying. My boys are dying because integrity is dying. My boys are dying because they have nothing to go back to. I know boys my age in the streets going back to back, blaming a whole country for not having their back. My boys are dying because they lost hope. My boys are dying because their mind is at war. My boys are dying and all our local leaders keep doing is lying, lying, lying to fly Russia, Dubai. I wonder what to buy while my boys cannot afford a bus back home. My boys are dying. And I'm not the one to save them. Thank you.
My boys are dying, the plight of the Kenyan youth. Unajaribu kurise lakini saa ingine hakuna kurise.
It's tricky.
You know,
It's
it's quite an issue, right? And tell us about your poems. Are they inspirational? Who are you speaking to? Tell us about your poems and your different genres and who you're speaking to before we tell you about the comments that are trickling in. And if you're watching us, it's The Morning Drift with Liz and Yango. We are talking public speaking, and there's no public speaking without an example. This is talent made in Kenya. One of Kenya's favorite poets. His name is Mufasa. But we are saying, how do you get to be a good public speaker? And the SMS line is 20375, and we are talking real talk. Hakuna kudanganyana. And Mufasa, hapa kwa comments,
Yeah.
Hey, it's getting us funny. Eric Chabi Kainga, you're saying mimi hata kwa nyumba siwezi ongea na speaker aje sasa. Limax is saying good morning and win today. That goes out to you, Mufasa. Becky Kim Koi, you're saying wow, he's great. And the SMS line is 20374. Keep the comments coming. But back to Mufasa. Mufasa,
Yeah.
tell us more about the genre of poems you're writing, why
Yeah.
you're writing, and who are you speaking to?
So for me, I would say, one, I learned that our personal stories, these individual stories, in our own way, are relatable. Basically, stories that does not connect. Like, even if it's not you going through something, you know someone who's going through something. So when someone shares a personal story, you can somehow relate to their story. So for me, it's just being rooted to my personal story, telling it as it is. That's why I talk about my mother a lot in my poems.
Yes.
Because like that's like, you know, our mothers, like I say something about my mother, you're like, hata mimi nakubali your story, like, hey,
And I think
juicy.
come on, Juicy. Before I interrupt.
My brother got a child, boy. So mother mine, when the child was born, my mother looked at the kid after, you know, a part of a baby that resembles her. You know how all parents are, like, nataka msijui mapua yangu nini, ametafuta amekosa, aoni kitu inafanana na yeye, akanitumia picha kwa WhatsApp of the baby's fist. Nje mtu akizaliwa anakwanga amekunja fist hivi, ameshikilia fist imekunja hivi, akanitumia picha akaniambia, Kibet, sio ni mkono yangu kabisa.
That's quite a funny one. And talking about your mother,
Yeah.
I've seen you, Mufasa, in concert. I've seen you, Mufasa, in concert, and you are doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
Like tell us about Mufasa in concert, and then I'll join it with one of the poems about your mother, because in one of the poems you talked about your mother. Before we continue with the questions, so many people have questions about public speaking and how you get to achieve it. Even as you talk about Mufasa in poem, how do you get in concert? How do you get to be among international delegates and perform in concert and not even shy away, coming from a background where you came from zero when it comes to public speaking?
Yeah. For me, I normally tell myself, if I have nothing to say, then I'd rather not write a poem, or I'd rather not go on stage, because my reason for performing, or my reason for being on stage, is what will keep me what will give me focus and give me basically the whole idea of being on stage, because I have something to say. So if I don't have something to say, then I didn't perform. So I go on stage with that focus of I have something to say. Yeah.
Okay, so Mufasa, let's go. One poem about your mother. Make it as interesting.
About my mother.
Yes. She's watching, and love that she's saying unitumie salamu. Or how would she say that in that accent?
Okay, let me tell
Give
you.
it.
Okay, let me tell you something about my mother. My mother. I don't know about your mother, but my mother is amazing at exaggerating. My mother will say, Kibet, nikutuangia chapo saisi, mimi nikupikia chapo. So nanguka hapa chini. Kwanza yangu ni alias, ngosi natoka tupikia hivi. I don't know about your mother, but when I was a kid, my mother did not like it when we looked tired in front of her. My mother would say, sasa umechoka nini? Umechoka kulipia school fees? Au umechoka kulipia rent? Oh, umeamka ukachambia tu, bas wacha nijoke. I don't know about your mother, but when I was 14 years old, my mother used to come home almost every day with new clothes for herself. And my mother had a game to make sure we didn't feel bad about the fact that she was buying herself new clothes every day. So my mother would come home, and the first thing my mother would say was, Kibet, hautamini majago hivi. Every blouse, kiss menunga, just kiss. I'd say 500. And my mother had the best reaction ever. Mother would go, hey, wow, you're 50. I don't know about your mother, but when I was 16 years old, I used to think of preachers as people who had a solution to every national problem. So when I was 16 years old, I told my mother I wanted to be a pastor. My mother said, hey, I said, if you can't save money, how will you save people? I don't know about your mother, but the first time I performed a poem on national TV, I remember the words. I said, I'm a son of a woman, a black woman. That day my mother called and said, hey, Kibet, nasikia leo kwa TV na kutuambia. Kama online sitajua. Nasikia tuliambiwa tu mama yako ni mweusi kabisa. Nje vitu tunaambia watu. I don't know about your mother, but when I was featured on a newspaper, on a full page, my mother called and said, Kibet, nimekuwa koba. Unajua hata Ruto akienga akaseti wanakata miguu. Ya kwa kugusa. Simba, come on. Yeah, that's it about my mother for now.
Oh, that's it about your mother for now. But I see the passion you have for your mother, yes?
Yeah. But basically, being raised by a single parent, you just find the story linking up somehow to your guardian. Yeah.
Okay, true story. So, Kibet, the questions keep trickling in.
Awesome.
And kuna mtu amesema kwa nyumba hizi ongea hata na speaker, hiyo tumesha address. But CK is asking, how do I deal with stage fright? Or rather, how does somebody get to deal with stage fright? Tuseme tu uko tayari na kila kitu, lakini there's that anxiety before you get on stage, which I think is an African thing or maybe a universal thing. You know you're going on stage and all eyes on you. How do you deal?
One, mi tasema kitu. I normally believe that a stage fright is not like kitu mbaya, because it basically shows you care about what you're about to say and how people are going to receive it. That's why you kanaka stage fright. I believe that stage fright ifai kabisa. You need to care. Ndo pia inafanya you improve on how you deliver. Inafanya you care so much about doing well and doing better. So misbelieve like if you don't have any stage fright, it's not a good thing. But now in terms of how do you overcome it so that you're able to deliver as much as it's there, I normally believe that for me your growth inafaa iko pole pole. Always amka tu leo na uende mbele ya watu 1000 ka hujaenda mbele ya watu 10. Like we should a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. So tuanze pole pole, like first practice by yourself on the mirror. Tell yourself nini practice on yourself nini invite one person, hata kama bro yako ama best yako ama whoever is in the house.
Okay.
Nisikize nini get their feedback. Go to a place labda mnakonga kwa group ya wase labda mnakonga mnahang out best 10 15. Do something before them. Okay. Get their feedback. Kwa better. Okay. Now find a space labda kuna open mic or something, kuna karaoke. Enda imba karaoke, enda imba just place overcome here. Then now finally you're in a position now to get before a bigger audience. But ukisema tu naamka leo alafu of course itakuwa normal, but basically that's why the whole process means practice. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we had you, CK. I hope you've had. It's all about practice, but also get a familiar face to come for your show or whatever you want to do, even if it's your presentation, so that you can be able to do away with stage fright. So Mufasa, there's so many comments on our SMS portal 20374. So Kionga Loasa anasema Kibet, umechoka kujilipia fees. I don't know about your mother. Thank you for tuning in, Kiongo. Tell us where you're tuned in from, and please ask questions about public speaking. It is a universal problem. Let's not ignore it. And then we have Yegon Emmanuel. Is he from your home area, Yegon?
Well, you racism.
It's not racism. It's not tribalism. Yegon is saying Mufasa is gifted.
Awesome.
Yes. So Becky Kim Koi is saying, wow, he's great. Alafu we have Limax tuned in. Eric Chabi Kainga, you're tuned in. Joe Jensen, you're saying I love your story. Eric Chabi Kainga, you're saying you're talented. Mhenga Mtukutu Moja, on it's lit, good job. And there are so many comments coming in, and even as the comments are coming in, we are reading the SMSs on our SMS portal 20374. If you're just tuning in, karibu sana, don't go anywhere. We are talking about public speaking, and we are saying, how do you deal when you can't deal anymore? And Mufasa is in studio. He's a gifted poet. At some point he has to tell us how he gets to do this because for us it ended as public speaking ended at that topic where you've been given. talk about the devil and the devil appears. Do you remember that topic I told you about in my funny public speaking story? Anyway, I'll repeat it for Mufasa to hear it.
Yes.
So we have one more question from Naomi, who's asking, which is more important, Mufasa, content or delivery? When it comes to public speaking, which one do you weigh more, content or delivery?
Which one do I weigh more? Definitely both of them. I don't think there's one that any lesser than the other, because content means basically what are you saying. That's like very important. That's like the most important thing. But at the same time, how you say it enables the person to understand or listen to you keenly or pay attention. So how you deliver it as well matters, because that's the only way the message gets to your audience. So both of them are, for me, it's 50-50. Like,
okay, even as you talk about 50-50,
Yeah.
let's talk about a message you want to send out there. And we are talking through a poem. So let's go. Send a message, any poem that you think is sending out a message, or it's more of content rather than delivery. We know you've already perfected your delivery.
Yeah.
So just think about a poem you want to either do next, or one that you feel is sending out a message.
can I do it in the next round?
Yes, you can do it in the next round.
Awesome,
Okay,
awesome.
so if you're tuning in, it is Mufasa in studio. And I think we need to remind ourselves what spoken word is in Kenya. Talent made in Kenya. But it didn't come from anywhere. It came from the root cause. And that is what we're talking about today. And we want you to tell us your different experiences. Do you feel like you're good enough at public speaking? Ukuja utupatie ma 1-2 hapo 20374. Or do you feel like sometimes your public speaking is not polished and you need to polish it a bit, and you want to ask a question to Mufasa, who's been on stage several times, but he's coming from a point of no perfection? It is all about progress for him. So 20374, tuambieni, sign in the register, tell us where you're listening from. Na kama kuna mtu anasikiza kutoka kwa kina Kivet, pia utuambie. And I hope you told your mother to sign in. Or should I call her right now? So we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Nairobi to the world. This is Look Up Radio. Now playing your all-time hits.
This is for my future wife. There are things about me she should know. So just in case she is listening, my name is Kibet, but most people call me Mufasa. I spend my days uprooting words from the flows of my soul. My mind has doors. Some thoughts have locked themselves at the back, but you should know I cut my nails after every 1 week. The first name that hits me when I see a dog is Snoopy, and blue is not my favorite color. But I don't mind if you come out of the blues. See, I know you are beautiful, because that's how I notice you. I know you have a smile that stretches like a hand. That's why people around you always feel touched. I don't know if the first time you say hi, my earlobes will lock rhythm with my eardrums and make music that will last from ear to ear. But I know what will attract me to you will be how strong and happy you are under the wings of a king of kings. So my mind will find vision in your words when you say, God bless you. I know I will love you, because that's the reason I will be with you. But I know I will love you more because of your relationship with God. When I'm away and I fall, you will send prayers that will pick me up. The soles of my feet will always touch the ground, because your knees touched the ground for us. So I hope you won't mind that I took the time to know you first, that I found the words to describe you before I could find a way to miss you. And hey, the day I walk you down the aisle, forget about numbers. African as I am, there won't be a number 3 or 2. You won't even need to be number 1 when you will be the only one.
The way I want to love you, the way I want to hold you, heaven knows, only heaven knows.
But I'm not naive. I know. As years go by, we will introduce each other to new imperfections. So of course we will fight. Of course I will see you mad, and I will see you smile. Of course I will have you hold me, and I will have you push me. And I'm here training, praying. My anger will always find a reason to pose on my elbow. My elbow will fold, so I will never know how to raise my hands on you. And the rest of my body will never have to know how it feels like to regret hating you. Even though right now, my feet cannot stand that. And if you have a past, I have a past too. I just have faith that my romance will grow masseuse hands and try to massage the tans in your past. I say try, because some memories have found untouchable corners inside us, and no matter how much we starve our stomachs, they will not come out. And maybe they shouldn't. Maybe the thought doesn't need to be reminded of the pain that passed through when we swallowed them. Maybe you just need to know that I will be there, that I will know when to shut up, pull a chair, sit next to you, and just love you. And maybe you need to know that I will know how to protect you, not by having a gun. If I wear the full armor of God, my breastplate of righteousness will protect your heart. So when we fight for us and God gets us through crack of dawn, crack of lips, and we win and still be together at 50, write me a letter when I'm out of town and put butterfly stamps in it. You won't have to write much. I'll just need to be reminded that even at 50, you still give me butterflies.
The way I want to love you, the way I want to hold you, heaven knows, only heaven knows. The way I want to love you, the way I want to hold you, heaven knows, only heaven knows.
This is Look Up Radio, Kenya's #1 gospel radio. This is Look Up Radio.
How is he your man if he hits you? How is he your man if you run away from him? How will he hold you if those hands are the same hands you run away from when you want to run away from scars? And if you can't trust his hands, then how will you trust his ears when scars inside you need an ear? How deep can your mirror go before it's too far for you? How many blows on your face before your wedding dress doesn't blow your mind anymore? Yes, his love used to leave you breathless, but tonight his hands will be on your neck choking you. That's the only way I picture you, breathless. You say he used to star your nerves, but from the wounds inside you, he's been stabbing your nerves. You say he still loves you, so you're hoping his iris will teach his pupil to look at you as a ladybird. You say he hits you because he's a man. But what if he hits you because he's not man enough not to? Thank you.
Wow, amazing. Mufasa, it's quite something that you've just done a poem about domestic violence. I'd first of all like to find out why you decided to write that piece.
Yeah.
Because today in the news and something that is trending right now,
Yeah.
there is a foreigner who's suspected of killing lawyer Koki and he's been detained for 2 weeks. So this is what happened. Her name is Elizabeth Koki Musyoki,
Yeah.
and she's a lawyer.
Yeah.
And she's been dating this man for a while now. So there's the begging question you did in the poem.
Yeah.
How is it that he keeps hitting you yet you keep going back?
Yeah.
So Elizabeth did a public post and
Yeah.
said, he's been hitting me. Police have been releasing him. He keeps on hitting me. He's arrested and then he's released. And then she's even said on her post,
Yeah.
like, are you guys waiting for me to get into a body bag for you to react? And that's the current situation right now. And eventually he finished the job. So she's dead. So please tell us what inspired you to write that poem. And do you write more of poems that speak to the person in a deeper way? Because I think that one tells a story. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for me, I just write poems about real life situations. Like, these are day-to-day stories that happen here at home in Africa, in our homes. These are stories that happen amongst our families. And then hopefully, I hope that by speaking about it, then we can talk more about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because most of the times tunanyamazanga, tunaficha, tuongelee hizi story, but the more we talk about it, then the more somebody else will get information about it, and probably as well inaweza msaidia to make a decision as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is well said. I hope you're getting inspired, and I hope you're learning, even as you do public speaking. Content matters, according to Mufasa, because somebody had asked, do you focus on content or do you focus more on delivery? So I think even when it's public speaking, it's about the message as well, right?
Yeah.
Because that one spoke to us directly about domestic violence, even without you telling it. So let's talk about Eve Nancy Kemunto Magati.
Hey.
You're watching from Kayole na Honorable Magufuli Nyaboro and Sobosobo.
Hey.
How is it hapo Kayole? Hizo majina jo zimeweza. And then Joanne Wanjiru, you're saying he's amazing and talented. Cynthia Kiari is asking one begging question. Kivet, pia accent ni ya Kikale, man. Role model wako ni nani? So let's start with that. Who's your role model?
I don't have one specific role model. I believe that as I grow up, as time goes, change is one thing that is constant. So every new day we discover new things and we challenge ourselves in a new way.
Okay.
So this is when I change, like in a poetry world, angalia mtu fulani, but then after a while I feel like, okay, I need another challenge that I've done in me. So for me, I'll just say people who have done the ordinary people who have done the extraordinary things. And how quite just poetry ama nini, no. It could be just someone who struggle na cancer and somehow aka beat cancer.
Okay.
It could be someone who, in fact, labda cycle across countries, speaking peace. Hata naweza kula mtu ana preaching kwa ndai, like una chiku mtu una enyewe yo. So it's just learning different things from people. I always believe that you'll always learn something from anyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is well in. Zulfa Zena Mwangiri is tuned in, and she's asking, Kivet, how do I address I like the way people are calling you Kivet. How do I address a hostile group? A hostile group, like I've been in a public speaking situation where you sit down and you're ready and you think you got your it together, and then the crowd is looking at you like, what's going on here, like no clapping, no nothing. So Zulfa wants to know, because sometimes how do you handle a hostel group? You have to finish your performance, lakini hakuna motivation.
Hey.
Ukweli tu wa mambo.
Mimi nikisema tu ukweli, cha ukweli. Hey, so ingine ka hostel ni kubaya. Like I remember the times when unainvitiwa na chuo, like a uni whatever, labda ni KU ama UN, kuna campus night or something, and then wamekuinvite. And then time yenye wamekuinvite ni time wako rowdy, wasome like like your time in your audience una feel tu hapa ni kubaya. These people want to dance, do nini, and then they want to perform a poem there. Mimi kuna zingine nimekataa tu safi.
Seriously?
I believe as a performer, I'm as someone who wants my message to go across, to reach to someone. I need also to be particular about time na audience na saa zingine.
Yes.
Like if I can't control it,
Yes.
then I'll try as much to create an environment where it's better for my message. For example, nikifika mahali na feel people are so tight, I can't just go straight to the message.
Yeah.
I might decide to create some jokes.
Okay.
That's even how the mother stories came about, because I feel like there are times when nafika mahali nimeitwa perform Supreme Court.
Wow.
The other day now when Maraga was we had a luncheon ceremony, a goodbye ceremony by the judiciary from Maraga, and I was invited to perform.
Yeah, wow, amazing. That's an achievement.
Thank
Congratulations.
So when I was there, you look at this audience, the way they look at you. Already they're belittling you in a way. Like when kind judges or Supreme Court commissioners and stuff. What can you say? Like what new thing can you say?
Okay.
And you don't want to sound like a puppet. Like ni kama tu umeandika tu kitu because of what you want them to hear.
Oh, so
instead
crowds
of
differ.
being yourself. Yeah, crowds differ.
Your content will not run
It's not
across
the
the
same.
board.
No, yeah. So the delivery for me is different across any audience that I get. Like
Okay.
it's not the same. Nikifika huko ndaangalia, okay, this is a tight audience.
Yeah.
I need to break them kwanza.
Yes.
Or loosen up kidogo.
Yeah.
How do I do that?
Yeah.
Naangalia, okay, what stories can I share? Yenye ni generally inakata across age. It doesn't
Okay.
matter how old you are. Utacheka.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, kweli. Like, I hear you. I
Yes.
get that. So those are some of the ways for me, like basically loosen up an audience. At the same time, there are audiences you wanna feel I'm okay with just going straight to the message.
Yeah.
You can get an audience and feel this in ripe. Like, let me go in.
Okay.
You go in.
Okay.
The other
So,
thing as well is time.
Time,
Control
okay.
time you can perform.
Oh, to control.
Yeah.
Especially if you rate how the audience is behaving.
Yeah, you can say,
and this
let
one
me start at the beginning of a function.
Okay.
Let me end it. Let me come in the middle. At least be in control, Pia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for the insight. And I think this runs across any sort of presentation. Hata kama ni hizi za ofisi, the audience matters.
Yeah,
if you notice the audience is not paying attention at all, reduce the time. Look at the content, right?
Yeah.
So Mufasa, we still on the 20374 SMS portal, where you're telling us where you're watching from. First of all, what are your public speaking challenges? What questions do you have for an artist who's performing in public every other day? And then now he's talking about the way he has different audiences, and he's saying the content can vary from audiences, because Zulfa, you had asked, how do you address a hostile group? So even the audience matters. So Mufasa, what's your next poem about? And maybe just give it straight to the people, because they're like, we still want to hear more of Mufasa. But before that, Chumba Leting Mose, unamjua huyo? Huyo ni wa kwenyu, kwa sababu amesema my high school friend, we used to have a singing group in the CU. So you used to be in the Christian Union and you were singing. You need to tell us more about that. Honorable Magufuli Nyaboro and Sobobo, you're saying from Kiabusura Suneka Kisii present with Finley Nyaboro Jr. Naive Nancy Kemuto Magati. My fans. Able to another one about your mother, kwa sababu mafans wamesema. Let's talk about Mama Kivet.
Mama Kiv. Actually, let me do this. I recently, last year, I launched a book last year. And the book is called Raising a Son. So basically just talking about family, talking about history to like basically how we are, how we were raised, nanini. So let me read one poem from here. This is called School Fees Kind of Love.
School Fees Kind of Love.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
The way I was raised. My parents said, I love you by paying school fees. By buying food. by clothing you. My parents were not obligated to offer you friendship, although there was friendly gestures here and there, like when my mother called me Baba, or when my father asked Umekula. My parents did not ask you how you were doing. They told you what to do, and sometimes they told you how you were doing. And I remember the bossy tendencies in our relationship. My mother would send me to the shop 6 times within 10 minutes. My mother would send me to go buy sugar. When I was back home with the sugar, my mother would ask, "Ajofi?" When I was back home with the salt, my mother would ask, "Mbona mkusema kuna sabuni kwa hii nyumba?" And this always happened when my favorite program on TV was on. Always. I never hugged my father. If I did, I don't remember. If I don't remember, I was probably a kid. The first time I hugged my mother, and I was old enough to remember, was after my initiation ceremony. Women, including my grandmother and her friends, were dancing around me. It wasn't a hug exactly. It was something really close to a hug where I come from. We called it a sigh. We call it a sigh. Every time my mother bought me shoes that didn't fit me, my brother taught me what to say. I said, "It fits me." I said, "Thank you." My brother was trying to teach me how to understand. Understand is something I did before my first day in school, before I learned to spell the word. From the day I was born, my obligation has always been to understand my parents, understand their age, understand their work, understand their pain, understand the times, understand they don't need to be perfect, they just need a perfect kid. Understand I'm just a kid. Understand parents know everything and I'm just a kid. Understand just because I have eyes don't mean I have a point of view. Understand it is difficult to have a voice and a mother who buys her underwear at the same time. Understand I don't know what's best for me. That's how a bomb is made. It's given a trigger or just a little thing to pull before it explodes. Every time we grow into atomic bombs and explode in the streets, people always ask, "What is wrong with you?" They don't ask, "What happened to you? What happened to us? What happened to my brother?" The streets expect you to find a way to become a good man, to become somebody a parent can be proud of. I don't think broken children find the time to become. They are. They just stay as they are. I can see my brother swimming in alcohol right now. And boy, he's a good swimmer. As a matter of fact, he's no longer good on land. He prefers to swim to keep himself from landing on his head every time he walks on land. I think my brother died a long time ago. My mother thinks my brother is leaving his death. I think my brother doesn't have poetry. He just has a bottle in his hands. I understand.
Amazing. That's the story about your brother and his plight. And do you want to tell us more about that?
My brother struggled with alcoholism, but then even growing up, he used to have issues that I feel like probably they were not addressed earlier on, and then so that's why I feel like sometimes small things that not come to him mapema. If we don't deal with them early, it becomes a whole bomb in the future.
Okay. We were talking about there's something that is trending right now on the news, on the current news, about the 23-year-old university student who butchered his whole family. Like, what do you think about that? And like, just your general view, opinion.
I thought this
when it comes to upbringing, because you've brought it up and you've even wrote about it. Yes.
I just believe for me love is very important. Like love in family, love in a relationship, love at home, like, and because I don't remember God is love. Like and love is like your commandment here, like the two greatest commandments about loving God and loving each other, basically. Loving yourself, others as you love yourself. If there is no love at home or anywhere, it's very hard to survive.
Okay, you've brought in a very good topic, because there's a question that is coming in from Andrew. You're talking about love.
Hey.
You are a poet. So why is it that poets are deep but don't share their love stories, or rather don't even get to be in love? Alafu tuanze na wewe mwenyewe. Kuna mapenzi mahali kuna arusi inakuja. Yesterday we were featuring Robert Burale, motivational speaker, and he told us we were doing the vision board, and we were just learning how to do your vision and what you're looking forward to. Like, are you looking forward to love and a wedding and a big wedding? And he told us the way he's visualizing his big wedding, and it's going to be something very nice, and the bride is pretty and everything. So what's your vision when it comes to love? Let's act yesterday's episode today.
No, for me, when it comes to relationship, I believe that the person that I will end up with somehow, the only thing you know for sure is the fact that she'll be someone that I'll respect a lot.
Okay.
Because me, I believe in this, and respect is very important. Like when you respect each other, that like that's the beginning of anything. Like before udanganye mse, before nini, like as long as you respect this person, then it's gonna be difficult. It's gonna make it hard for you to lie to this person. To take them just what do you call it? Take them for granted.
Okay.
Yeah. But otherwise hizo vitu zingine ati sijui atakuwa na kaaje, sijui atakuwa na short hair, atakuwa na long hair, atakuwa na mguu refu, atakuwa na shingo refu. I don't know.
Alafu Mufasa umefanya ile kitu ma MP ufanya, wakiulizwa kaswali kamoja ukiulizwa kaswali kamoja unarukisha ako kaswali unaka twist, alafu unatufanya tusahau swali umeulizwa. And then you're even forgetting your fans out there are watching. And then you're forgetting if you're single, there's a prospective other out there. So I'm going to ask the question again. Are you in a relationship?
No, I'm not.
Are you in love? Or are you just now working on Mufasa?
I love my sister. And my nephew. And my parents.
And your parents. Okay, sawa. So
and I love Jesus. Jesus.
We have so many ladies tuned in out there. So there goes. He's a single man. And he's ready to mingle. So you've heard it from the horse's mouth. So we have one more question, Mufasa, and thank you to everybody who's tuned in. Chumba Leting Mose is still tuned in. Honorable Magufuli Nyabaro and Sobosobo, you're still tuned in. And you're asking in Sobosobo, how do I, just something I've done, how do I overcome a tendency to say when speaking in public?
That's a good question. In fact, you're making me now, you're making me be careful of how I speak right now. I would say learning those joining words.
Okay.
Like basically, or what I'd say. Or just, you can play yourself. You're like, what am I saying?
Yeah.
just learning those joining words that can make you hang there as you're recollecting your thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Mufasa, let's do another piece that is one of your favorite, and then we talk about your book.
Okay.
One of your favorite pieces.
One of my favorite pieces. The thing here is, what happens is my favorite piece is normally a new piece.
Okay.
Like when I have a new piece that is ready, then it becomes a favorite piece because I'm eager to know how the audience will receive it. And also I'm eager because I'm learning the words. I'm feeling differently, a new thing when I'm performing it. So I wouldn't say like I have a favorite piece in terms of my past pieces. And do I have a new piece that is ready? No, not yet. Not yet. I have an event coming up on February 13th.
Okay, tell us about it. Oh, February 13th. 13th is my birthday.
No way.
Yes, I was born on February 13th. So I hope I really get to attend your event, and it can be fun, right?
Okay.
So tell us about the event.
So it's happening February the 10th. I just wanted, because of COVID and everything, it should be very COVID compliant event.
Okay.
So we'll just have 50 people only.
Okay.
We normally have 400, 500, 600,
yes,
200 depending. But now we'll just make it 50 people only. But gives these people the best performance ever.
Okay,
Yeah.
talking about COVID and events, how
Yeah.
were you affected by the whole COVID situation as a performer? And
I'm
then,
still affected. When you say that, in fact, I'm even being more affected.
So did you do any piece on COVID?
Did I do it? I actually did a concert
Okay.
on COVID, just talking about vulnerable people from the slum, people when you kind of feel they were even struggling even more than I thought I was.
Okay.
Watu wenye labda hawakuwa na afford masks at the time, people who lost their jobs. So I did year time. Yeah.
Okay, so how about one piece just to encourage our people out there? We still have COVID, you know.
Yeah.
One
Ooh,
piece.
this-
One piece.
no,
Yes.
It's a pieces.
Eh.
You know the thing about poetry is sometimes you really need to get into that element. And that was a show that I really prepared for.
Okay.
Like for 3 months.
Okay.
Nilikuwa na practice.
Oh,
Nilikuwa naandika,
okay.
nilikuwa nafanya nini.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like if I was just to do it bila,
Practice.
yeah, I would not give it my best. And
Okay.
I would not give it, yeah.
Okay, so what do you feel like doing for us right now?
For
Another
now,
piece, because your fans are tuned in na kuna wale wanatutumia messages. By the way, if you're joining us, this is Look Up Radio and I'm your host Liz Nyango, and it is a very good morning to have a good morning. Na nawaambia amkeni kumekucha. I am always gonna be your alarm today and every other day. You don't have any choice. Are you drinking your tea? Where are you drinking from? For those who are tuned in, asante sana. Mike Oletayana, you're tuned in every day. You were here last week, you're here today as well, and you're saying Mufasa is very talented. So, let the talent continue.
let me share a poem. Nasema siongelengi love ya nini. Let me share one of my poems, my
Okay.
favorite poems from the book. The book is called Raising a Son.
Okay,
This poem is called My Girlfriend is Getting Married.
okay.
My girlfriend is getting married to another man. She's not my girlfriend exactly, but man, it almost happened. It was so close. I'm missing out on her wedding today. I and do are just simple words, but it is hard to watch a woman you want today want another man for life in front of your eyes. There's not enough poetry for a poem about how I feel right now. It's just how I feel. I can picture her walking down the aisle, and I'm not sure if the groom's heart will be doing a somersault or freezing, but if like poles repel, then for such a hot woman, he must be an iceberg. I don't know if he knows, but a green dress and her skin are coffee and cream. But then again, here I go, using a poem to pretend I know so much. If I know so much, why am I not the groom, right? The downside of a boy falling in love with a girl his age is, even if they wore the same watches on their wrists, the society will still tell their times differently. The same person who will tell her she should have been married by now will tell me, you can start looking right now. I'm looking at my life right now, and I don't have the pieces right. Nothing fits. I have been praying for a woman on behalf of another man, and I'm not taking my prayers back. But this sure will be the genesis of something. Before I am scripted to another woman, I might need to see some revelation first. When you see someone, it never really hits you. This might be the last time you see them. I don't see myself seated having coffee with her again. After the wedding, I just can't trust myself around her anymore. I have a feeling I'm going to be petty. Like stupid petty. Like if I saw a pimple on her face, I'll be like, did he do that to you? Did he do that to you? I know I tried. I threw everything at this girl. Ethiopian food, my sister, yogurt, pancakes. For 5 years now, she has been the girl of my dreams. And tonight, when I go to bed, I'm supposed to change that. Maybe I can try to find a different girl to dream about, but that won't make her the
Your
girl
dream
of-
girl.
The girl of my dreams. I see you.
See,
Hey, that's
I
why.
can relate. I can actually really try. By the way, one of these fine days you need to challenge me.
I see.
Is that based on a true story? Mimi tu ni udaku tu.
Mars need true story.
It's
yeah.
a true story.
True
So you
story.
lost somebody to somebody. Seriously.
I did, yeah.
Oh, pole sana.
I
Lakini hakukuwa wako.
Ah.
Hakukuwa wako. So we still have so many people who are tuned in. It's Mufasa in concert in studio at Look Up Radio, and it's getting better and better. Thank you very much for everybody who's tuned in. Yani, we appreciate you, like, whoa. And then remember, the SMS line is 20374, and we still want your opinion. What do you think about our topic today? Public speaking. Tuongee tu ukweli. Have you been in a scenario where you felt it was a bit uncomfortable? Have you learned anything today from Mufasa and where he's coming from, and his mother, and the way his mother calls him Kivet? Do you now understand you can call him Kivet? Whether I know your first name, Ken. Is it Kennedy or
Why are you
Kenneth?
like this? Why are you like this?
Yeah, so we're keeping it real. This show is about keeping it real, and thank you for keeping it real, Mufasa. So how about a short break? Don't go anywhere. Remember to sign in the register. Tell us where you're waking up from. Tell us what you think about public speaking. Ask Mufasa a question. When we come back, we'll talk about his book, and he's going to do a parting shot. And then follow him everywhere. Mufasa, we need to follow you where and where? On Facebook?
Everywhere, Mufasa Poet. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Mufasa Poet.
But unafanya kazi mzuri sana. Yani.
Thank you.
You're doing a
Thank
good
you.
job, and you've come a long way, right? How many years has it been since you started live? Like performing live on stage as Mufasa, as the brand?
Probably 6 or 7.
6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
Umeweza, umekuja from far.
It's
I'm not
real.
gonna ask you how old you are. Okay.
What?
Short break. We'll be right back.
I'm
Don't
16.
go anywhere.
From Nigeria,
For live in
Look Up
concert, change won't come for free. You have to be the change you want to see in the world. Thank you very much, Mufasa, for being in studio today.
Thank
So
you.
maybe you do a parting short poem and maybe a word of advice to somebody who's watching, looking forward to be a great public speaker, looking forward to be a great poet. And are you mentoring? Are you mentoring anybody right now? Are you passing on the legacy?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We have 2 ways we do that. We have a Kenya Poetry Slam, where normally people compete and win the crown like the year slam champion. So I facilitate the workshop there, and as well I work. I am a judge there.
Okay.
We have open mics where people can just find a stage and an audience to perform before, just to improve their skills, to get feedback, to watch others, and then there are of course personal people that we talk on the phone, we reach out, we hang out, we do something together, and then in the future I'm trying to do more basically in terms of reaching out to people who I personally feel like I want to reach out to as an individual, and who have the potential, and basically just find a way if I can help in any way for them to be better or go where they want to, then I want to be able to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Once again, it is Mufasa live in studio right here at Look Up Radio KE. The name of the show is The Morning Drift with Liz Nyango. Hashtag everywhere. Let's comment about it. Let's share everything. And even as we go on, Mufasa Ndego John is saying, you mentioned your book, Raising a Son.
Yeah.
Yes. Can I get a copy of Raising a Son, please? How do I get to get it? And then Joanne Wanjiro, you're saying, wow, Mufasa, you're everything. Sorry, I missed that line because the comments keep trickling in. Wow, Mufasa, you're everything. And then some, I'm very inspired this morning. That is Joanne Wanjiro. Captain Cargo to Mufasa. Given that as a poet, you mostly write from very personal inspirations. Do you sometimes ever feel a fear or mistrust towards your audience and readers that they probably won't fully relate to your piece unless they've walked into your life? Are you biased?
Not really. I feel like anyone will relate to, like, that's why I said it when I started. Our stories are relatable. Our
Okay.
personal stories, like our journeys, they're different, but they're the same at the same time.
Yes, like from high school, the way we had teachers who were
Yo.
giving us funny punishments.
Exactly. Like
Yes.
when you talk about home,
Uh-huh.
the way you're raised, you talk about your brothers, your sister, your mother, nanny. That whole, it's relatable. Like
Kuna
someone
tuka
gets
story.
it. Like yeah.
Ebu tell us
as long as
about.
you're being honest. As long as you're being honest.
As long as you're being
Yeah.
honest. Okay, as we're talking about that story, can you tell us about your mom's cooking? You love your mom too much. Tell us about your mom's cooking.
No, the thing about my
And
mom
then
is
on Sunday, you used to just eat chapos. It's in every family, right?
exactly.
Okay, this is for Captain Cargo, yeah? So he can understand how stories are relatable, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about your mom's cooking. Just
So,
something.
Basically, what do you mean, mom? No, my mom is. You know the way everybody says my mom is the best cook. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
my mom is the best cook. But she doesn't just cook. She cooks only kuna guests. Sisi wenyewe analenganga tu tujipike, watu wajipikie tu wajipanga, but kukuwa na mgeni. Hey, unashangaa, this is really my mother. Hey. When I show up kitchen, attacking mistake or kitchen, attacking mistake or kitchen, like yeah.
So Captain Cargo, do you know? See, he says all the stories are relatable, and we agree. Maybe we've not gone through the same experiences, but Mufasa is saying the stories will always relate. I hope that answers it. Degwa John is still asking about raising a son and how he can get a copy.
Okay.
Tell us about the book first of all.
Raising a son is basically a poetry collection.
Okay, you can show it to us on camera.
Bam!
Nice.
That's the book.
Achievements.
Hey, you
Wait.
see the serious artwork.
Yes,
Doesn't play.
it is.
This was done by a guy called Elvis Award.
Okay.
So now the book is a collection of poems, and then just how do I let me see how to. It's just life stories on family. On love. I mean, what is a poet without a love poem?
Yes.
What is a poet without a love poem?
Without a heartbreak. Without a heartbreak.
Without a heartbreak, exactly. It talks about leaders, and the idea of the whole book is we can't always wait for the light that's at the end of the tunnel.
Okay.
Like sometimes we have to create our own light while we're still in the tunnel.
Wow. It's amazing because Robert Burale was here yesterday.
Yeah.
And that's the exact thing he talked about. Like
nice.
you have to be the light at the end of that tunnel. In fact, I wish we had that video ready. We would have played it, yeah? So, okay, fine. So, Mufasa, a word of advice to anybody who's watching you out there?
Word of advice. Your passion. Like when you find something that you're passionate about, follow it through. Because there's nothing as fulfilling as doing something that one you enjoy doing, and secondly, that gives you purpose. Because that's what passionate things do. You know, when you were younger, we used to dream about careers. You go to school dreaming about careers. You know, I'll be this, I'll do this, and then school ends.
Yeah.
And you start looking for jobs.
Yeah.
You no longer look for careers. Like you look for jobs.
Okay.
So life is you can never predict life. And life is not as easy as it looks sometimes. Like you wake up in the morning and then you go to bed in the night, but in between, and given everything that goes through your mind, life is not really like the simplest thing to do. But if you find something you're passionate about, then it makes life worth living.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well in, and thank you very much for coming to studio. I know you're a big name and you have a lot of performances going on out there. You're a star. But you still made time for us, Mufasa. We appreciate you. Tell us, what are your comments about today's show and Mufasa's performance? And did you learn something about public speaking? Are you still learning? Do you have something you want to tell us? Remember, the SMS line is 20374. We'd like to hear from you. So even as we do a parting shot, Mufasa is going to do the last poem. I know you guys want to go on and on because even the comments keep on coming in, and we appreciate. So you've heard about raising a son, you've heard about Mufasa, and now he's going to do the last poem of today. But I promise he's going to be back in studio for a big performance. You better wait for that. So Mufasa.
Awesome. Okay, because of what is a poet without a love poem? Let's try find a love poem. A heartbreak poem, in fact. Let's try find one. Okay. Whew. Okay. This will not be the first time I talk about the first time I saw you. But really, the first time I saw you, I just wanted to pour my name into your hands. That is how I imagined you holding me the first time. When I met you, I knew almost immediately you were somebody my heart could shelter for free, without rent. So I prepared my heart for you. But you went for my lungs. On our second date, you asked me to surrender my breathing pattern to you. That is how you landed my body as your colony that night. You pecked me on my cheek. That happens with new pieces.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay.
Move on. Mm-hmm.
Let me get it vizuri.
Sawa sawa. Take your
Let me
time.
get it vizuri.
Take your time.
Hey.
Take your time. Meanwhile, as Mufasa is getting the final poem of today, we want to ask you a fact or fiction question. So, is this a fact or a fiction? You lose most of your body heat through your head. Fact or fiction? You lose most of your body heat through your head. Is that a fact or fiction? Even as we wind up, yesterday we were talking about Motivational Monday and we talked about how to create a vision board. I'm still in the process of cutting. My vision board is going to be visual. I'm still in the process of cutting newspaper cuttings and all the magazine cuttings of what I want to achieve in 2021 all through the rest of my 15-year plan. Have you done yours already? How is yours coming over? Michael or Letayana, you're tuned in. Yesterday you sent a photo of you starting over your vision board. Have you finished it? Everybody who's tuned in right now, in case you're wondering what we were talking about yesterday and you'd like to understand how to create a vision board, it's simply creating a vision of what you want to achieve so that you can project it, and then when the time is right you can come back to it. So it can be visual and it can be written. So we are encouraging you to write your vision board. Today we were talking about public speaking. It's just basic. How do you improve your public speaking skills? Mufasa has told us among very important things. When you think you have stage fright, call a familiar face like your mother, your sister, or your friend, or somebody who encourages you and can tell you about your performance and give you a positive critique. So that's one of the lessons we're learning today, and this is the final piece by Mufasa. I hope you will enjoy.
This is called My Sister Gave Birth to God's Child.
Okay.
When my sister was 7 months with child, I was 7 months without knowing. Even when I hugged her, I couldn't believe she was no longer alone in her own body. When my mother called to tell me the news that my sister was about to deliver, I wanted to tell her to be a funny mom. She needed to work on her delivery. My family could not believe my blindness. I couldn't believe my family. My brother said, my sister never treated a pregnancy as prison. So the day she gave birth, it was not the end of a sentence. It was the beginning of all the words we could find to describe the most beautiful baby. My sister gave birth to the most beautiful baby. We all called him our child, but we knew he was God's child. God prepared my sister the same way God prepared David. I mean, before David faced a lion, he was prepared to face his fears. You know, come a lion, come a bear, go David with his bare hands. My sister was ready for her baby. Even the neighborhood kids had to be careful of my nephew's son to a mother who spit fire. I kept thinking, we've never loved anyone like we love my sister's baby. My sister's baby came with a ladder for all the walls we thought our love couldn't go over. For all the times my sister has held her baby, I have seen her baby hold it together. I guess it's why I'll never understand love. How it makes you strong and weak and raw and whole at the same time. Maybe it's why we struggle to understand God. My sister said all the strength and love she got was God reaching out when her baby started walking. My sister walked him to church. You see, my sister is not my baby sister anymore. She's the last born who finds ways to come fast so many times. What I'm trying to say is, if numbers mean something, I know I can count on my sister. Every time my nephew says, Mom is sick in the eye, mama, I know it's how he's been taught, but for what it is, it means she's crying. I wonder if in the same way God made us call it rain, when actually it's him crying. I've seen people love with their hearts, but my sister loves her baby with her whole life. And if God calls us his children, then I'm afraid maybe we do not understand that love. These days, my sister digs herself out of her own grave. That's the kind of wrestler she is. The under cannot take her. And I've seen the sun be more than just like to my sister's son. On hot days, my nephew has melted into a crown which my sister wears. My sister wears her baby as a crown, so all men who put a target on her can identify a queen, a ruler, a kingdom, a monarch. I think we can learn a thing or two here. 1. Babies in their first school uniform will make their mothers cry. 2. Babies with great smiles will make their mothers go to war. 3. Babies with their beautiful feet will make their mothers run away from men with ugly steps. 4. Women with babies want the best for their children. No mother goes through C-section hoping to raise a D student. 5. Women with babies are bulletproof vests for their children every time the man in front of them is shaped like a gun. 6. Women with babies have learned to share themselves. Men who are full of themselves will have to empty themselves. 7. Every time it feels like it's the end, I have seen God begin things. The story of creation did not end in Genesis. God is still creating new things. Thank you.
Wow. I've gotten one more statement from there. Lakini ma punchline uko nazo, ma punchline. Mufasa, so how do you get your mysteries? Is it directly from the head or
Ni God, ni God.
Ni Mungu, Mungu mbele. So this is my parting shot. No mother goes through C-section to raise a D student. That one goes out to all the mothers out there. That's why the poem, My Sister, courtesy Mufasa. If you're a mother and you're tuned in, I hope umebarikiwa leo. And we're praying you're going to tune in tomorrow. The topics keep getting interesting. Anyway, are you an artist and you'd like to be featured on The Morning Drift with myself, Liz Anyango? Please send us a message on 20374, some of your work. We are promising to feature your work. This is all about talent made in Kenya. Asante sana Mufasa. All Kenyan. Yani, we pride ourselves in you. Vizuri tena sana. And we are praying you'll go international and sell your book and keep preaching through your poems because you're preaching preacher. Sindio. So a parting shot, Mufasa, and then we're gonna go see you again tomorrow 6 a.m. to 10 a.m.
My last word, change won't come when our leaders change. Change will come when we change.
Asante sana.
Gospel Radio. This is Look Up Radio, Kenya's #1 gospel radio. This is Look Up Radio, Kenya's #1 gospel radio. This is Look Up Radio, Kenya's #1 gospel radio.